and another meeting of Perfutech meeting in Chennai where she presented about the use of LVAD as a bridge to transplantation. This is all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now call upon Dr. Sadasivan Pillai to present a report on our research activities at Mediville Science Park.
Good evening, respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, my colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Our key basic and applied research areas covers genetics, molecular biology, nanotechnology, herbal medicine, biochemistry, stem cells and tissue engineering. You know that we work on stem cells, especially tissue engineered products. We have been in this field for the last 5 years. Bovine pericardium, bovine jugular vein, porcine pulmonary artery, these were the tissues we have been working on. And as on today, we have implanted these tissues in 926 patients, and it was quite successful. And we have been trying to get approval from DCGI for conducting phase 3 clinical trials for a couple of 2 years. I'm happy to state that DCGI asked us to make a presentation, and our chairman himself went to Delhi and made a presentation on 12th March of this year. And on principle, they agreed to give us permission to conduct the phase 3 clinical trial, and we are so confident that this product will come into the market maybe within a year or within a couple of years. And last year, we have submitted as many as 4 research projects for various funding agencies like ICMR, DRDO, BEEP, DBT, etc. And 1 project for World NONI Research Foundation. And we also submitted a project to Australia-India Strategic Research Foundation. The title of the project was Remote Patient Integrated Health Monitoring System in Cardiovascular Diseases. And these projects are Indian partners as well as Australian partners. And Indian partners consist of Society of Electronic Transaction Security, RMK Engineering College, and Frontier Lifeline. And Australian partners consist of Curtin University of Technology, Edith Cowan University, and University of Southern Queensland. We also submitted 1 project it's on drug discovery. The collaborator was Pushpagiri Institute of Medical Sciences, Kerala. And we conduct quite a good number of courses recognized by several universities in Tamil Nadu, like Dr. M.J.R. Medical University. We have courses for the BSc degree, UG diploma, fellowship programs, and PhD in cardiovascular diseases. And University of Madras, we conduct PG diploma courses. These courses consist of 1 year. 6 months the students do their work in the university and remain 6 months with us. And we have been also recognized for conducting research leading the PhD degree in the area of life sciences. And Pondicherry University, they have given us 5 areas for conducting the research leading the PhD degrees, that is clinical biochemistry, cardiovascular biology, biochemical pharmacology, toxicology, and biotechnology. Birla Institute of Technology and Science, and we do PG diploma courses in physician assistant. It is a 4 years programs. Meenakshi University, Chennai, and it has been recognized for carrying out research leading to the PhD in the field of life sciences, especially clinical biochemistry. In last year, we have published 2 scientific articles in Indian journals and 5 scientific articles in international journals. And our students participated 6 national conferences and 4 international conferences like Germany and Singapore. And 59 students from various colleges and universities underwent various training programs of our organizations like stem cells, nanotechnology, tissue engineering, cardiovascular genetics, clinical biochemistry, and molecular biology. We conducted 2 workshops in the previous year. 1 workshop is Statistics in Pharmaceutical Development and Safety Studies. This workshop was inaugurated by Dr. Samadhanam, Advisor and Head, Technology Development and Transfer Department Science and Technology. This workshop was aimed at senior management level people of pharmaceutical industries. Another workshop we conducted the title of which was Recent Trends in Basic Science, Translation from Bench to Bedside. This was inaugurated by Dr. T. Ramaswamy, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. And we do the contract research activities. We have an enabled accredited facilities. These facilities have moved to the laboratories, which you can see on the back sides. And some of our sponsors were TTK Chennai, Life Care, Johnson and Johnson's. And at that facilities, we could do the mechanical testings of tissue grafts or biological products, blood bags, IV cannula, needles, syringe, and a lot of varieties of contraceptive devices which we are doing. And we do the phase 3 clinical trials, especially with the cardiac drugs, and the 2011, we catered to each sponsors, and our sponsor name stands right from A to Z, right from Actelion, Switzerland to AstraZeneca, India. And the preclinical facilities, which you are seeing over here, it has got several uniqueness. So it's installed with ultra-modern control systems. The animal house has 100% fresh air supply, and it has got a standby HU. So we have a direct generator, and if the generator fails again, some of the HU can take care of it now. And we have energy recovery from exhaust air, and we have ozone generation unit. That means the exhaust air from the animal house will be treated with the ozone before it gets discharged to the atmosphere. Perhaps the only facility in this country which has got that facilities now. These are our laboratories that we have in these preclinical facilities. Animal house, we can house rodents as well as dogs or canines, analytical chemistry laboratory, clinical chemistry laboratory, pathology laboratory, genotox laboratory, in vitro laboratory, molecular biology, ecotoxicology, entomology, agronomy, electrophysiology lab, clinical trial. Perhaps this is the only CRO in this country where this clinical trial or phase 1 facilities also housed under one roof, and we have large animal surgery units and radioisotope laboratory and the support facilities like wash area, storage area, etc. now. And we can do any studies required for registering a drug to regulatory agencies. For example, toxicology, acute or single dose toxicology, various routes like oral, dermal, intravenous, ocular sensitization, etc. Repeated dose toxicity studies, chronic toxicity, carcinogenicity studies, mutagenicity studies, reprotoxicity, and we can do the compatibility studies, all studies required for that, cytotox studies, sensitized and skin sensitized studies, irritation to mucous membrane, systemic toxicity, subacute and subchronic toxicity, genotox, implantation studies, we can do that in large animals and small animals, hemocompatibility, chronic toxicity, carcinogenicity studies, and we have the facilities to do the drug metabolism and pharmacokinetic studies in rodents as well as the dogs. We can do the bioanalytical method validation studies, pharmacokinetic studies, and metabolic identification studies. We have an ecotoxicology study. This is a requirement for registering agrochemicals with the regulatory agencies. We can do the studies of the aquatic organisms, freshwater as well as the marine, toxicity of the honeybees, toxicity of earthworms, and we also have a robust chemistry laboratory where we can do the physicochemical studies, residue studies, storage stability studies, or fiber analysis studies, method development and validation now. And we have a training center that is exactly the side of that, where it is already functioning in its full strength, where we already started imparting training in biotechnology, nanotechnology, tissue engineering, molecular biology, biostat, toxicology, and biochemistry. And we have collaboration with various institutions. I'm happy to say that last year we signed an MOU with RMK College, Chennai. The chairman is already presenting over here. And we are going to be one of the biggest job provider in this area. We hope that by next year, we'll be providing 300 jobs now. And we are very particular to conserve the ecosystems. Like carbon credit policies, we have planted as many as 6,000 bamboo trees which are capable of absorbing carbon dioxide. You can see that of around 16 species. And we have planted more than 200 ficus trees which can protect the ozone layer. And we have planted the mangrove trees backside of that. We all know the importance of the mangroves. And we have provisions for the waste management. We have the sheds for housing the animals now. Biogas generation, it is a good source for alternative energy. And the preservation of marine ecology and aquaculture. We do organic farming. We have already started organic dairy farming now. We have fodder and feed. We can raise it by organic farming. So for that, we have vermicompost and all vermicompost we are using for the cultivation of the vegetables. We already started cultivating the vegetables here. We have 25 acres of medicinal plants around here. And last time we have seen this was under the construction. Now it is full functional now. Just to get into the greenhouse, you can see the exotic medicinal plants, also some of the endangered medicinal plants of this country. And other side of that, you can see that this is a solar powered distilled water distillation plant now. All the distilled water required for these laboratories will come from this plant now. Even we can convert this distilled water as a drinking water as well. And Frontier Mediville, we talk about total health care. According to our chairman, the definition of total health care is somewhat different. It's a basic research because most of the available drugs is less efficacious or it shows the side effects. And healthcare delivery should be affordable. That's very, very important. Again, healthcare delivery should reach to the unreached. That is the reason why we are having a Medi-village, not a Medi-city. And of course, we should have concern to the environment. We cannot separate from this. And above all, prompted him to develop this medical village. And in our Frontier Mediville, environment, research, and healthcare merge. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Doctor. Our guest of honor, His Excellency David Holly, is a career economist who has worked in the public and private sectors. He is currently Australia's Consul General in Chennai, India. Prior to October 2010, he was head of the South and Central Asia branch of the Department of Foreign Affairs and was the Deputy High Commissioner in New Delhi for the 3.5 years ending January 2009. David led Australia's contribution to both the India and China Free Trade Agreement feasibility studies. Prior to joining DFAT, David worked for the departments of Prime Minister and Cabinet and Treasury, as well as the merchant bank Hui Rich White. He has also had overseas postings in Singapore and Ottawa. David was born in Nigeria and is married with 3 daughters. May I now call upon His Excellency David Holly to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much. And guests on the dais and honourable guests off the dais, may I offer my hearty congratulations to Frontier Lifeline and also to the Dr. K.M. Cherian Heart Foundation for what is a wonderful 8th anniversary of your annual day celebrations. I guess one of the questions you probably all have in your mind is why is a Consul General, particularly an economist, here at a medical function? And I think one of the things that I noticed when I met Dr. Cherian was that we have great empathy between our two countries on many different issues. And I want to talk about one of those issues tonight, and that is looking at medical care in a rural setting. Because in Australia, while we have very great differences with India in terms of rural care, one of those differences, of course, being population, we also have a number of similarities. Governments in India and hospitals in India, like the governments in Australia and hospitals in Australia, are working to ensure that demography and distance are not the determinant of healthcare of its citizens. Investment in regional health infrastructure is one dimension of addressing this particular complex task. Another is assisting communities to both attract and retain health professionals. In Australia, rural and remote medicine is typically provided through private community-based practices and hospitals. But as you and I know better, health services in rural areas can also occur on roadsides, in remote clinics, in jails, via the telephone, and more recently through e-health systems. It's the hallmark of the rural and regional practitioner in both our countries that they have a highly developed sense of clinical judgment and an extended skill set which allow them to safely care for patients in a variety of ways that general practitioners in urban settings are not accustomed. This includes surgery, obstetrics, and secondary care quite often for both adults and children. It's in this context I just want to share with you tonight two stories. And I think these stories will give you a feeling of the commonality of the issues that we face, and they pay tribute to the extraordinary people who are providing health care in rural and remote settings. The first story is about someone who you may know, and his name is Dr. Dayalan Devanesan. He's the son of Chandra Devanesan, who was the first Indian principal of Madras Christian College. He developed a medical program for the Australian Aborigines that made him the director of the Primary Healthcare Coordinated Centre in the Northern Territory, which is in the north of Australia. When Dr. Devanesan went to Australia, he was a young doctor, and in 1973, he joined our famed Flying Doctor Service throughout the north of Australia. He cared there for remote farms and settlements in a very arid region. Under Dr. Devanesan's care and program, he ensured that a few members in every Aboriginal community were trained to become proficient in three things. The first thing was to call immediately a doctor if there was an incident. The second is to give oral rehydration. And the third was to teach how to give a penicillin injection. And with those three very basic fundamental care, Dr. Devanesan was able to say